The House will come to order. With no objections, we will move to conference committee reports.
Conference committee report on House File number 400, an act relating to health. The report is addressed to the Honorable Miss Melissa Hortman, Speaker of the House, the Honorable Jeremy R. Miller, President of the Senate. We, the undersigned conferees for House File number 400, report that we've agreed upon the items in dispute and recommend it as follows. The conference committee's report is signed by all three conferees on the part of the House and all three conferees on the part of the Senate. Olson moves that the report of the conference committee on House File number 400 be adopted and that the bill be repassed as amended by the conference committee.
I recognize the author, Representative Olson, who will explain the report.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So this is we passed House File 400 off the floor a few months ago, and this went to conference with the Senate file. And so it's been in conference. We've had a good conference committee process, and this bill is coming back to the floor today, and I'm recommending a green vote on the conference committee report. But first, I just want to thank the conferees, Representative Baker and Representative Halverson, for their work on the committee. We worked hard, and we defended the House position, and we did it well. And I also just want to thank staff who have been working on this bill for months and months and months, well before even this session started. So I do want to thank Mark Laliberty, Kevin Labence, Chris McCall, Eric Anderson, and Jeremiah, whose name I texted Dave to get but didn't get in time. So Jeremiah, you know who you are. And just want to say thank you to all of them for working so hard on this, because this was a team effort all the way to get this bill done, and it was great to see Republican and Democrat, partisan and nonpartisan, all working together to get this bill passed. So the major differences in the bill from what passed off the House floor is we agreed to the Senate funding mechanism, which still generates $21 million in revenue, but it has a different way. It's through registration fees on opioid manufacturers and other manufacturers and of products that, pharmaceutical products. So it does have a difference. We also, in our bill, originally had fee increases that helped generate the $20 million in revenue from our wholesalers. So we didn't do that this time, but we have commitment from folks to really be working on that next time. But that is a difference. We did that. We also agreed to a sunset, but put parameters around that the sunset, we would guarantee these fees at $20 million for 5 years, as well as tied it to settlements that would be coming in from opioid lawsuits that we know are in the works through the AG's office. And so after 5 years, so we'd be guaranteed the revenue of $20 million a year off this registration fees, and then after 5 years, we'd be getting $13 million in revenue. The structure of the bill still remains the same, that it is the advisory council that takes the funds and appropriates it into prevention, education, and treatment. So that is still a major part of it. The appropriations are roughly similar to the way they left here in terms of that there would be funding for the grants through the advisory council, with about half of the pot of money that's generated to be able to be eligible for grants. We do have some appropriations for the first 5 years that we spell out, and then we have ongoing funding for counties for out-of-home child placement costs, as well, as we know that is a big part of it. So it's a great day for this bill. This is a lot of hard work. Representative Baker reminded me that this summer, I called Representative Baker, I don't remember what month it was. We were in the middle of election season. We didn't know, I think he thought he was gonna be in power. I was hopeful maybe things would change, but we both committed to each other that regardless of who had gavels, that we were gonna work together to get this done, that it was long overdue. And this is something Representative Baker has worked on, and this was the year to get it done. And I'm proud to be the chief author and to be bringing this bill to the finish line that didn't get where it needed to go last time, but it got there this time, gosh darn it. And so we know that since even this bill left the House floor, we've actually lost more people because of this. This isn't something we take lightheartedly, that this is a tremendous opportunity to do something really good for the state of Minnesota. So even though it's hard to come back with a compromised position when you're working in a bipartisan, bicameral way. This is a bill I'm incredibly proud of because it is forward-thinking. It is doing something that's never been done in the state of Minnesota. It is $20 million of ongoing revenue because of people that have been able to essentially operate at $235 registration fee up until this point. So things start changing and things are going to be different, and we're going to be able to improve the lives of so many Minnesotans because of this bill today. So even though it's a compromise position from what we saw off the House floor, I'm incredibly proud to bring a revenue-generating bill that will tackle the opioid crisis and improve people's lives. So I encourage a green vote.
Is there any discussion to the motion to adopt the conference committee report? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion prevails. There being no discussion, the clerk will give the bill its third reading as amended by conference.
Third reading, House File Number 400, as amended by conference.
Third reading as amended by conference. Any further discussion? The member from Dakota, Representative Garofalo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the conferees. Representative Olson, thank you for your hard work on this. Compromise is never easy. You've done an exceptional job leading on this issue, representing the House of Representatives as well as the citizens of Minnesota. Thank you for your work on this, on a piece of legislation that's going to save tremendous lives. I also want to thank Senator Rosen and Senator Eaton for their work on this. Again, there are differences between the chambers. There's sometimes differences between the parties, but this is a substantial piece of legislation that has a tremendous impact in saving people's lives and curtailing what is really a crisis in our state. But last and finally, I want to thank my man, Dave Baker, okay? I want to thank you for all your work that you've done this. You know, when you were running as a candidate, before you were even in office, you talked about this issue, and you were ahead of the curve. For various reasons, you knew about this, and you knew what a crisis it was before I think a lot of us did. And I am so proud of the work you've done. You're an exceptional leader. I remember last year sitting on the House floor saying, Representative Baker, keep at it. You're still an awesome guy. Don't worry, because you were so down. And today, for you to play such an important role in this success, the state of Minnesota is proud of you. This chamber is proud of you. You're a great leader, and you have an exceptionally bright future. Don't quit, okay? So, Madam Speaker, that's my pep talk for the day. Sorry. Everyone should vote green on this. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Representative Masin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I know this is a very emotional bill. This bill intends on raising a lot of money, on charging money into this health, and really raising the cost of health care, and there's going to be a lot of good done with the money that this bill raises. I do not doubt that. There's been motions made to pay for this out of the general fund so that we can use money where it's needed to fight addiction and to fight crime, because a lot of the opiates that are killing people in Minnesota are not pharmaceuticals, but they are, imported illegal drugs. This bill, I did not support the House version of this bill because of what happened in the state of New York, and where this bill would disproportionately impact generic pharmaceutical companies, which really are the ones that are taking care of people that are in chronic pain and people that are at the end of their lives dealing with enormous amounts of pains, and those who rely on opiates the most for good, for medical purpose. This bill, the bill that we passed off the House floor, would assess $20 million to the opioid industry directly in proportion to the amount of drugs that they sold in Minnesota. And as much as I didn't like that bill, that was a fair way of distributing the cost. But this bill, as amended in the conference committee report, charges flat fees to everyone in Minnesota who touches opiates. Whether you're a manufacturer, you're a wholesaler, distributor. Members, this bill taxes veterinarians $5,000 a year because they can prescribe, or they may prescribe, opiates. Veterinarians. This taxes medical gas distributors. And as far as I know, there are no medical gases that have opiates in them. But there's some small companies out there too. You may tax the largest medical gas distributor, but you're also taxing the small medical gas distributor. And the company who is distributing welding gas, but maybe wants to carry a couple of tanks for oxygen because there's a nursing home in that small town, in that small community, where they don't want to drive 40 miles to get oxygen for a few patients in their nursing home. They want to just have a local distributor handle it. Now he's going to have to pay $5,000 a year under this bill because he wants to help out a local nursing home, or she. This bill taxes small businesses as well as big businesses. Now, I've stood on this floor and railed against crony capitalism. I'm a capitalist, I love capitalism, and I love it that it drives innovation. But sometimes the big companies come to you and twist your arms to get legislation like this that boxes them in and boxes their competition out. You're going to be assessing fines $250,000 a year or $55,000 a year to distributors large and small, regardless of the number of opiates that they distribute lawfully in this state. Members, what's going to happen when you do this is the generic manufacturers aren't going to see a need to distribute generic drugs here. And the name brand drugs that are 1,200% the cost of generics may be the only ones available. And the large manufacturers are going to win on this. The large wholesalers are going to win on this. And the small guys are going to say, we're not going to do business in Minnesota. You are driving business to big pharma, to the top, to the largest manufacturers, the largest wholesalers, the largest distributors. You've allowed them to give you the bill that they wanted. And what happens when the power rests in the hands of just a few companies? Think the prices are going to go down? No. You are raising the cost of drugs by directly taxing the opioid industry $20 million a year, over $20 million a year, and you're doing this for at least $250 million. That's not going to help people that are at the end of their lives, struggling to pay medical costs, struggling to keep their pain under control. We have a need to fight crime and addiction in this state, but taxing the sickest among us is not a moral thing to do. I like the fact that there's a sunset in here because it's awfully tough to take this away when there's going to be so many great programs that are set up to feed off of this money. And the sunset will kick in when we get $250 million in settlement money, or if the settlement never comes, after we've taxed our sick for many, many, many years. This may finally go away. Again, this bill disproportionately taxes small distributors. You're giving the small people, the small distributors, the small companies, and the companies selling the least expensive drugs, the ones that my friend here, Representative Howard, would be proud of, that try to make the least amount of profit on their drugs. You are taxing them indiscriminately. Actually, you're taxing them more because they're not making as much. You're giving the guys, the largest companies out there, a win here today. I'm voting no, and I'd urge that we go back and change this so that it's more fair to the small manufacturers and wholesalers and to the generic companies. If you're going to tax these guys, tax them in proportion to the damage they're doing to our state. Don't drive business to just the top few companies. This is a big corporate bailout. This is crony capitalism in its finest, and I won't have any part of this. I'm voting no.
The member from Morrison, Representative Kresha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, members. The costs are too high. The costs are ridiculously too high. Every time a child is pulled out of a home and into child protection because of the opioid addiction that those parents suffer, those costs are too high. Representative Olson, Representative Baker, you got it absolutely right. You know and you attached the systemic problem. The rise of addiction and chronic addiction is driving the child protection system into an untenable position, and you have gone after that. The costs are too high. Every time a child is maltreated, left, put into a foster care situation, that we know that child's rates plummet for their chances of graduating from high school, yes, the costs are too high. We have seen the child protection system almost double with reports because of opioid addiction. Just ask the local law enforcement. They'll tell you the costs are too high. They'll tell you about the people that are sitting in those cells that cannot get off this addiction, and we can't even get Suboxone in there to help them get through their cravings so they can get back to a kid that just wants a sense of normalcy, that just wants to be loved, that just wants to graduate from high school. So you darn right the costs are too high. They're too high for the society, and they're too high for this budget. If we don't go after it with programs like this, those programs will tip us into a place that we cannot fix. So absolutely, this is the right bill. To those that worked on this, thank you for seeing all the ties. Thank you for connecting all the dots. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What you did is a huge step. My congratulations for working together, and just fantastic job. Vote green, members.
Further discussion. The member from Candy, Ohio, Representative Baker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. It's a great day for us, I believe. Representative Olson, you mentioned the time you called me this summer. It was 2 months before the election. I remember exactly where I was when you called me. I was in my truck, driving to my motel, doing some work on something, and I was on the 4-lane on Highway 23, and when I hung up the phone, I thought to myself, that was amazing, because you really did it because you just cared. I absolutely, in my mind, knew I was going to be in charge. That was so nice of her to do. And that didn't turn out that way, but I'm grateful. There could not be another member in this body that I would rather have worked with you side by side on this thing from before we started session. We kept reaching out to make sure that I think that I was hoping your leadership would appoint you to this team. And I cannot thank Speaker Hortman enough for that, and I'm just really glad you decided to say, yeah, this is going to be worth it, because we're going to work hard on this. We have hallways full of lobbyists that hate our bill, and we had people scaring a lot of members about how much this is going to hurt people. If we do nothing, members, this is going to hurt a whole lot more people. So the folks that are afraid that this might hurt something and you vote red, I'm going to ask you to dig deep and think twice about this, because doing nothing is not the right thing. This was the hardest bill I've ever carried in the 5 years that I've been here. And again, I allowed my friend, you allowed my friend to carry the bill, because that's how this works, and you did a lot of lifting on this, Representative Olson. So thank you for that. This bill is not perfect. The flat fees, I get it. We have to watch this. We have to monitor to see how this works. There isn't another mold for us to look at around the country about how this works. But it takes leadership and guts to step outside the box and try to create the mold ourselves. And I expect us to be visiting with this thing and tweaking this type of reform to help as many people as we can in the next few years. But doing nothing is not the right answer. But I understand we're going to have some red votes because you're afraid. I think what I also found really important is that before session started, I hope that somewhere, someday, history shows what we did before session started with Senator Rosen and Senator Eaton and Representative Olson and I. We were committed to getting this thing done from day one. We knew we were going to get this done, and we never quit when things really got tough. I hope that we show people how things can really work here in St. Paul. I think today is one of my most proudest days to be a legislator. There have been days I have not been proud. There are nights when we walk out of here and I'm just holding my head down because I'm ashamed of what happened to certain things or certain people and certain things people said. That is not what I want to be a part of, but I get that's sometimes how the game is played. So this is a good night for us. I wanted to bring you back to March 9th, when we got the news and why this bill is needed for the rest of the state. My wife and I got this call, okay? It's the call. And we had to tell our children, Olivia and Alex, about their older brother, Dan, who wasn't coming home, and how they rallied to us. They hung on to Mom and Dad so much that it just carries you. And these are our kids. And they were busted, and they were broken, and they were heartbroken. And then when my mom and dad finally got home from Arizona, and when I remember seeing my dad and mom walking in the door, and they had lost their grandson, and I just knew that when they held me and picked me up, it was this feeling of warmth and support and love like I had not felt in a way that way ever before in my life. And members, what we're doing here is we're trying to rally around other families and communities by our actions tonight, by what we really think is the right thing to do. There are no guarantees, but I will tell you, this money is going to go to a lot of really good things. We have invested already so many dollars to good projects, like our friends in Morrison County that are working so hard to expand the medically assisted treatment, like our friends on the Echo with Hennepin Health, and teaching rural doctors and family doctors what it's like to really prescribe an opioid. Don't listen to those companies that sell them. This is how we're supposed to do it. And now we've got a big problem because we've got to make sure doctors are not throttling back too much and too fast, because that's going to make a lot of people sick too. That's what they are out doing right now as we speak because of our investments here. My concern is we don't know what our money situation is going to look like in the next few years. This brings us a few dollars, 20 million bucks. Come on. This is small potatoes on the bigger scope of things. You know, raising $235 current licensing fee to a company that sells 6 million dosages, they were paying $235. Now we're going to say the minimum is going to be $5,000 if you want to do business in Minnesota. If you sell opioids for a while, you're going to spend $55,000. For the really big ones, for the top 15 or so, we're going to get you for about $300,000 until we find a way to get enough money in the account to settle this thing back down. It's temporary. We think there's going to be some other monies coming into this account. But I will tell you, members, our advisory council is solid. We've got members from the tribe. We've got doctors on this. We've got pain specialists. We've got advocates. We've got legislators. We've got the members that will know what's going on in Minnesota will be on this mother board. And we are going to help direct and help fund the right kind of projects. And we're going to advise the commissioner on where to send this money. So this advisory committee is going to have a lot of work ahead of them. But after our story, my wife Mary and I, to bring this to you tonight is a special moment, and it is my most proudest moment to be on this House floor. So for that, members, thank you for giving me this time. Thank you for letting me keep kicking in your doors and asking you to please pay attention to this bill. I know it was a weird one, and it's taken me 3 and 4 years to get it right, along with Representative Olson's help. Thank you. Let's get this done. Let's get it over to the Senate, and let's show Minnesota that we can do a lot of good things here with only 2.5 hours left. Please vote green. Thank you.
Further discussion to the bill. The member from Wabasha, Representative Driscowski.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for bringing the bill back again, Representative Olson. Members, we have a bill before us here that tries to believe and bring forward a notion that government is going to save us again. We had a bill the other night that brought forward licensure for assisted living facilities in Minnesota. We're going to put government between people and assisted living facilities. With that bill, we're going to put government fully inserted again with this bill. Why is it that every time we think that there are problems out there that exist in the world, people want to turn to big government and buy a big hunk of government with other people's money with the false and empty notion that it's going to save us? Madam Speaker, I wonder as I look at the bill, first of all, I would just note it's been said that some of us are afraid to vote for this bill. That's not true. I spoke to Representative Munson. He's not afraid of big pharma. Members, I'm not afraid of big government. We're going to make government even bigger with this bill, $40 million bigger. But I would ask, Madam Speaker, I have a question on actually the construct of the bill, wondering if the author would yield for a question.
She will yield. Representative Drazkowski.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Olson, on page 15 of the bill, line 16, section 10 there, the reviser's instructions. I haven't seen a bill structured this way before. I'm wondering what the meaning is behind it, but what it says is that fee increases included in this article will be added to fee increases that happen in other bills that are passed in this legislature. Are there other fee increases for these particular areas going on in other bills that this is going to be added to that we don't transparently understand as we look at this bill?
The member from St. Louis, Representative Olson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative, there is also an HHS omnibus bill that is currently moving that does have different fees that are at play in that. So we wanted to be able to acknowledge that as we're passing this bill now and hope to get it to the governor to sign while the HHS bill is still being worked through.
Representative Drazkowski.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, Representative Olson, the bill says on section 10 there on page 15 that fee increases of Minnesota statute section 151.065 subdivisions 1 and 3 in this act. That is the fee increase portions of the bill, pages 3 and 4 of the bill, where the fees go up from $235 to $5,000. What that says in the reviser section that I outlined is that there may be other bills traveling somewhere that are not identified in this bill that you have not identified and have not been identified yet here on the floor tonight, that could be added in addition to these fees. So the transparency, members, of this bill and the understanding of what we are voting for, we may not be voting for $40 million in fees for these particular areas, which, by the way, provides fee increases from $235 currently to $5,000 for veterinarians, for our cat and dog and livestock veterinarians, our beef cattle producers, our dairy producers, our hog producers that are struggling right now. The authors and the conference committee around this bill was fighting so hard to find revenue sources to take money from people. They tax veterinarians, dogs, cats, and cattle. I just don't understand her, Madam Speaker. Maybe I do understand it. I've been around here long enough. The government building in this bill, we found a reason. People flock to the notion that government is going to be the solution. We go out and we tax anything near or close to anything that looks like or smells like or could be related to anything that could be spelled like, look like, heard like, or anything related to anything that might be related to the issue at hand. In order to build government, and then what we do with this bill, members, is we simply provide appropriations to all the different branches of government. The Board of Pharmacy gets $244,000. Human Services, $309,000. Pharmacy Administration for the Board of Pharmacy, $126,000. Public safety over $500,000, $672,000 from the bill. Management and budget for evaluation activities gets $300,000 of this tax money that come from our farmers and ranchers in Minnesota that are struggling to make ends meet. To the Commissioner in Human Services for a brand new project that's somehow going to save us again, save people from dying. I doubt it. I doubt it will save people from dying. $400,000. The Commissioner of Human Services again for another $100,000. And a traditional healing area in Human Services for $2 million. To the Board of Dentistry, $11,000. It goes on, $17,000 for another one. Board of Nursing gets money, optometry, and others. We simply tax, 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 and then spend, 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 and we hope that people are going to be better. We hope that things won't happen like the horrible things that happened to Representative Baker's family. But members, our false sense of security when we go out and tax the gajibers out of people and build government really never materializes. So, Madam Speaker, I have problems with the bill and what it does, but there's also fundamental and yet to be understood issues with the way that this bill compounds potentially on other tax categories or tax acts in other bills. I think it would be fair to the people voting on this bill as representatives of their constituents and on the people and to the people of Minnesota to understand exactly what it is they're going to be paying for all the appropriations in this bill, because as the bill reads now, Madam Speaker, we just don't know. Thank you, members. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Miller.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, members. Representative Baker, you finally beat me into submission. You've bullied me, you pushed me around, you've had people in my district come after me. I believe on the floor here we've said that if you don't vote for this, you're afraid. If you don't vote for this, you lack courage. And yet you're looking at someone right here, right now, who stood before this body with a heartbeat bill that 90% of the people in this room didn't want. 4 years ago, I defended and said boys and girls shouldn't be in bathrooms together. And I was fought against that. But apparently I lack courage because I have problems with the bill. I see lobbyists are bullying us. I can tell you I've never had a lobbyist talk to me once about this. I surrender. Members, this year we have passed, Representative Jaskowski mentioned multiple bills that we have passed just yesterday, putting huge regulations over an industry that doesn't need it. Because we talk about elder abuse, and I'm not so sure that that bill yesterday even dealt with elder abuse. Probably in some indirect way, but we felt good because we passed this big layer of government. That's what we're doing tonight, okay? And if I don't support this, I'm not allowed to say, is this something government should be doing? Or do we have problems with individual things in this bill? I've gone to Representative Baker, I've talked to other people who have come to me and said, please support this. And I said, I'll support it if we can fix these things about it. They were reasonable requests. And all of them were rebuffed. You know why? Because I didn't care and I didn't have the courage to do what's right for the people of Minnesota. I've absolutely had it. These bills that we've passed several times over this year, I've heard things like, well, this bill isn't really all that great, but we have to do something. We have to do something. I have a severe problem with that, members, but representatives and Representative Baker may be the end of session, may be getting tired, but you beat me into surrender. You're going to see a green vote by me tonight. There's an injustice in that, okay? There's an injustice in that, but we're going to have to do this, right? Because we have to do something. And I know that if I vote red, I'm going to have to answer to people like Representative Baker, who lives right next door to me. Why don't I care about his son? Dave, I care about your son. I also care about good law. I care about the taxpayers' dollars, which is not a minute factor here. This is a very severe thing. When we always play with house money here. We always pass things that spend millions and millions of other people's dollars. It's real easy for us to do that. We got to stop doing that, members. Do I want to fix the opioid problems in the state of Minnesota? Absolutely. This bill really doesn't address a large portion of what I'm being told, and that's the criminal aspect of this. We're not really addressing that. A little bit of money here off to the side to say that we did something. Okay, so members, as we move forward with this, we're going to pass this. We're going to move on to budget bills in the coming days. We're going to pass on other issues, and we're going to forget about this. We're going to forget about the farmers and ranchers. We're going to forget about the fact that maybe this money isn't really going to help the people that are truly being hurt by opioids, but we're going to feel good about ourselves. So, members, this is a very disappointing day. That's all I have, Madam Speaker.
Is there any further discussion to the bill as amended by conference? Representative Olson, the author of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let's get this bill to the governor, right? That's why we're here. So I don't want to belabor this any more than to say we're not going to, this is a conference committee report. We had a full debate on the bill. This is a bill that you can feel confident voting green tonight. And this is a bill that got worked on. Representative Baker carried a lot of water before. I waited for 2 years to be able to even have the ability to have this vote on the floor. And this bill only got better during that time, and I worked hard. And it's not just about Dave Baker. As much as I really, really like Dave Baker, this is about all the Minnesotans that are counting on us to pass this and get this to the governor's desk before midnight. So vote green.
Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll on the bill as amended by conference. All members who desire to vote, please vote. The clerk will close the roll. There being 109 ayes and 25 nays, the bill is passed as amended by conference and its title agreed to. Messages from the Senate.
Message from the Senate, Madam Speaker. I hereby announce that the Senate has concurred in and adopted the report of the Conference Committee on Senate File Number 316, an act relating to state government. The message is signed Cal R. Ludeman, Secretary of the Senate. The Conference Committee report is addressed to the Honorable Jeremy R. Miller, President of the Senate, and the Honorable Melissa Hortman, Speaker of the House of Representatives. The Conference Committee report is signed by all three conferees on the part of the Senate and all three conferees on the part of the House. Masin moves that the report of the Conference Committee on Senate File Number 316 be adopted and that the bill be repassed as amended by the Conference Committee.
I recognize the author of the bill, the member from Dakota, Representative Masin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, this is the same bill that you passed the other day. This legislation, it has the ability to prevent some of the problems we've been having with new software being introduced by state agencies. So again, this is the bill that we passed the other day. The Senate agreed to our verbiage, and I have asked for your support. Again, I'd ask you to vote green today, and I think this will help us a lot, both with help providing comfort to the people that have been, I would say, inconvenienced, and even more than that, by some of the programs that we've tried to introduce that weren't successful, and hopefully this will prevent any future incidents. Thank you so much.
Is there any discussion to the motion to adopt the Senate file as amended by conference? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion prevails. The clerk will give the bill its third reading as amended by conference.
Third reading, Senate File Number 316, as amended by conference.
Third reading. Discussion to the bill as amended by conference. Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll. The clerk will close the roll. There being 134 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed as amended by conference and its title agreed to. Motions and resolutions. There are copies of the non-controversial motions at the desk and online. If there's no objection, we will take action on these motions first. Hearing no objection, the motions prevail. Announcements. Representative Doubt. Representative Winkler.
Madam Speaker, members, we're going to be taking up the higher education budget bill coming over from the Senate in about 15-20 minutes, and Republican members will caucus downstairs immediately upon recess. DFL members, please stay put. We've already caucused the bill.
Representative Doubt, further comment on the announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. GOP members caucus downstairs as quickly as you can get there, please, and bring your packets with you. Thank you.
Representative Winkler.
Madam Speaker, I move a recess to the call of the chair until approximately 10:15.
Representative Winkler moves a recess to the call of the chair until approximately 10:15. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. The House stands in recess until approximately 10:15 at the call of the chair.